Okay. Te utu o te haka momori, the price of suicide.
Kei te whare tapu o Ngāpuhi, nau mai, haere mai, tūhono mai ki tēnei wānanga o tātou e kia nei ko uia te pātai. This is what therapy aims to do. Welcome to this podcast of Uia Te Pātai, where we look at the experience of suicide and mental health well-being within our whānau. He uri koe ngā rāhiri, mokopuna nāku, nau mai, haere mai.
E ke tangoro, hara mai te toki, haumie hui e.
Taiki e.
Kia koe taku dub, kia koe taku bro, taku tuakana D'Angelo, ko piri mai, ko hau mai ki roto ki tēnei whare, ki tēnei caravan, ki tēnei studio, ki te wāhi kōrero i tēnei kaupapa e kia nei ko Uia Te Pātai, tēnei podcast. Just want to acknowledge you, my bro, for coming in today to share some insights, some real helpful insights around health, around suicide, and to delegate that time to us, because it's an important kaupapa, and one that a lot of whānau will find helpful, I think, in today's discussion. So, e mohio ke ana, taiwa ki a taiwa, engari mo te iwi e whakarongo ana, ka hori anō, ka tūtaki ki a koe, ko wai koe nōhia koe.
Che, mauri ora ki tō tātou nei kaupapa. Tuatai tēnei ake ka tukumihi atu kia koutou, te iwi o Ngāpuhi, o te rā ki tēnei kaupapa o Uia Te Pātai. Ko ai tēnei nanakia, he maramara tēnei no ngā iwi katoa puta noa i a muri whenua te hiku o te ika. Ko D'Angelo Martin tōku ingoa, he te Rarawa, he te Aupauri, anō hoki he hononga tāku ki Waikato Tainui, o ti rā ki te awa te pua o Whanganui. I tupu mai au ki Kaitaia, nā waira i hunuku mai au ki Tāmaki ma kōrero, ki konei e noho puana ki te uru o Tāmaki nā reira. Ai, tēnā koe, o ti rā, tēnā tātou.
Well, and koe tērā e dub, man of many professions, man of many things. Tell us a little bit around your career, what you're up to now, what the things part of your life.
Yeah, so I would like to still say I'm a young father, 26 strong. I've got two sons, Kuaka Te Kai and Kahu Maiangi. Proud father. I had a background in journalism. I was a journalist for coming on to 6 years now, but have sort of moved away from that and kind of just started my own pakihi as a videographer under my business, He Kuaka Media. Sort of had a online presence over the last 10 years as well, but with that I have kind of matured and I'm not the me that I was 10 years ago. So
Tēnā hako.
yeah, bro. Yeah, so just someone who really is grateful to be still alive, first and foremost. Don't take that for granted, but also someone who is continuing to strive to be a better papa, better businessman, better bro, and that's something that I try and work on every day, brother.
Kia ora, Dom, and we can see it in your growth, and I want to, I guess, go back to the start of your story, ki roto pu o Muriwhina, ki roto o Kaitaia, and I guess your observations or reflections on what it was like living in Kaitaia and dealing kind of specifically with like mental health issues, with difficulties and hardships. How was it going through stuff like that and living in a rural city? Is it harder because you're so isolated? The cultures that come with it. Can you share on that?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, growing up in Kaitaia was actually miki. There was a community there that I sort of surrounded myself with, that being a hapori Māori, being able to go to a kura kaupapa. But I would definitely say this thing around mental health and the kōrero and the wānanga around that was non-existent in my upbringing. I sort of took the model of my parents who wasn't really, I guess they weren't too aware of what it meant to be vulnerable or to be able to talk about it. So from that, you are a reflection of your environment or your parents, and for me, that kōrero or mātauranga wasn't really passed down to me. And so to answer your pātai, bro, I think it was very, very foreign. And when stuff hit the fan, whether that be losing a loved one or whether that be going through a breakup or things like that, yeah, I guess for me personally, I wouldn't be able to know how to regulate my emotions at the time. Now that I reflect back on that, I can definitely say that, yeah, it was sort of something that I missed growing up. And I guess I can see that as a ripple, you know, I riporipo tērā āhuatanga ki roto I taku hapori o tira ki roto I ngā bros. But now this kaupapa has very strong lineage within my circle of friends and within my whānau. And so, yeah, although I had a really great upbringing and it was very prominent to know where we are and where we come from in terms of our identity, there was a missing link within that upbringing, and I guess that would be this discussion around mental health, bro.
And yeah, pai tērā koro I te ripo, how that's influenced and even for our parents, they try their best. We had a similar discussion yesterday. Parents try their best, and even in trying their best, they miss stuff, and it's not to make them at fault. It's to ask the question, how can we involve it for us and for our kids? And then staying with that idea of like in your circles and in your the friends that you had, not kind of having that difficulty or that inability to talk about emotions. Can you recall a time where, you know, either you or one of your bros try to approach an emotional topic and how people responded to it?
Yeah, I think there's multiple scenarios where that occurred, but the only outlet that myself and my bros, the only outlet that we knew of was kind of going through the route of drugs and alcohol, bro. That was one way to numb the pain, or that was one way to numb the reality of what was happening. So, yeah, I started drinking at a very young age. Again, that was a reflection of my environment. You know, it was quite normal to... it was quite normal to have regular parties and pō whakangahu at my whare especially. So I indulged in that culture for many years. I think I started when I was like 12 or 13, and it was accepted by my parents. There were two factors of that made me think, oh, it must be all good. One factor was that at least we were drinking in a safe environment. So when we would go out from our place to like parties or whatever, would be all good. But then again, I would look at my mates that, you know, would come over, or my mates that wasn't the norm, and they'll be like, fuck, bro, you know, drinking at such a young age isn't actually a normal thing, bro. And I'm like, hey, what do you mean?
Don't judge me.
Yeah. What do you mean, bro? Like, and it kind of hit me, because from then, and then now, like, I barely drink these days, but I was like, yeah, no, that wasn't normal. Like, why did I think it was normal? And then whenever things that went on in my life, whether that be through, like, I don't know, relationships at kura or trying to deal with things emotionally, like, yeah, bro, I'll just turn straight to alcohol. And it sort of helped in a way. Obviously forgot about it because I would go to kura hungover. And then, but yeah, bro, that was my norm. Like, that was something that I found very normal, and so did my siblings. Which is out of it. Like, I don't recommend anyone starting that young. Yeah, bro.
Yeah. And again, it's not to pass judgment on it. It's to observe it, I guess, in a way to say like, what is this teaching me? What is it teaching me about who I am now and how to deal with it moving forward? If it isn't alcohol, if it isn't drug use now, how do you find yourself managing your emotions or regulating your emotions if it's not using those types of addictions?
Well, I've definitely moved away from that environment and from that acceptance of trying to regulate my emotions through those methods. I think this month alone, I'm probably 6 months sober. But before that, I've barely drunken in the last 3 to 5 years.
Just a whole new relationship with alcohol. Where
Yeah, bro. Like, I think it's just something that, because actually on my last 2 years at Kura, I sat back and observed my environment and the people that I was around, and I thought to myself, like, well, I've only got two options. I could either carry on this pathway, which is probably not going to get me very far. I could carry on drinking, I could carry on abusing my tinana, or I could find a way out, and that's what moved me out of Kaitaia, bro. Like, I moved the week after I turned 18 and didn't really have a clear pathway or plan set in stone, but I knew if I was to remove myself from that environment, I knew I would be better for it. But these days, my outlet is first and foremost acknowledging those emotions. Like, when they do come into my hinengaro, or when I do think about things that aren't very nice, I acknowledge it, bro, because trying to bury it or
deny it
isn't going to get me anywhere. And then my outlet is like te taha whakapakari tinana, bro. Like, I use that, and it's probably like very cliche these days, like, but I don't actually go to the gym well, half and half, but I don't actually go to the gym to try and look like a zaddy. I actually go to the gym because it's a form of escapism, bro, and it's a form of trying to seek for clarity, and whether that be the gym or a run. But yeah, first and foremost, acknowledging that those thoughts and those feelings exist, and then having an honest conversation with myself, I think is that's where I think I've matured, bro. Like, I understand that, like, oh yeah, I am going through these things. It's better to communicate with myself rather than to just hide it under the rug.
And going back to your points around, like, leaving your hapori, mahi pakeke te reo, that's difficult, because even with kind of forfeiting the drinking culture and all of that, you're also forfeiting social support, a system, and whether it's family, whether it's friends, it's also saying, like, I can't do this anymore, which also means I can't do this with you anymore. So, and then coming all the way down here, you know, what that distance is from all the way in Tamaki, all the way ki Teku, he tawhiti. But what we also see is, like, the growth that's come from it, your maturity and your emotions, your maturity and looking after your tinana. Koe rā ngā hua katoa. And I guess if we use you as that example, we can also look at the other side, the bros who didn't do that, who still continue to do that. Why do you think for males and for tāne, it's so hard to have those emotional conversations, to have that internal kōrero? Why is that so difficult for us?
Firstly, I'd probably just like to say that no way, shape or form I am a mātanga or expert at any of these things. I'm just talking about my own experiences. But I guess if I was to try and answer that pātai, bro, I would say that a lot of our bros, they thrive in comfortability. They thrive in being comfortable. And so when they are kind of trying to reach a new destination in terms of being uncomfortable, that's a very tapu or very difficult thing to do. And so, you know, there's a lot of my friends that still live up home, and I've got nothing against them, but if I was to try and have this conversation that I'm having with you, they'll probably just brush it off, or they'll probably just
tease you,
tease me about it, bro, which is, yeah, it's all good, bro. But I just don't think we acknowledge this kaupapa enough, that a lot of our bros are going through mental blockages, or they are trying to understand what's going on in their hinengaro, but they don't really have the mechanisms or
the resources.
or the resources or the methods to be able to cope with it. Therefore, they then turn to other means of trying to cope with it, which is what I spoke about earlier. There are a lot of mahi that's been going on in the community up home, and I acknowledge everyone that's trying to take part in not reviving this culture of what it means to be masculine and vulnerable, but there is also a it's an ongoing process, and it's an ongoing pakanga, and I think if we were to be a bit more bold with how we treat this kaupapa, and normalise it within our discussions, because you don't always have to have a hui with your bros over a beer or a bevy. It can just be as simple as going to the cafe and getting a coffee. But that's a culture that I've seen and adopted here in Tāmaki. Like, it's not really that normal if you go up home and ask the bro, like, bro, that's us, let's go to a cafe or let's go for a run.
I don't even drink coffee.
Yeah. So, there's different dynamics within it. But yeah, definitely we do fall short on this kaupapa, and it's quite disheartening because you see the stats of our bros going left or not,
And I guess on their points around, the going left, the not having the resources, not having the skills or even experience around talking about emotions, reaching to things like addictions, and in this case particular te our group is, kauri ki te suicide, ki te whakamate, ki te whakaemo. And one poignant part in your timeline and in your career was when you publicly opened up around death, a suicide that was close to your heart. Tell us a little bit about that experience leading into it, and on the other side, the responses you got from people.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, bro, I've never actually experienced a loss that was sort of that mamai. I've lost whānau members, kuia kaumātua, but that one hit a little bit different because sort of around the same reanga, and the relationship that we kind of had. And so at that time, to be honest, I don't think I managed the situation as well as I could have, because I was just in te pō, bro, and I would openly admit that it's an ugly place to be in. You sort of try and cope with it as best as you can, but for me personally, that rocked me, and so given the fact that I had a social presence at the time, I sort of wanted to normalise opening up about it, and the response that I got was it was mostly positive, bro. It was mostly positive. People were messaging and saying bro, that takes a lot to be able to openly share your vulnerability on a kind of national platform, or a platform where it's seen by nationally and sometimes overseas as well, bro. So for me to be able to do that, it took a lot of mana, but it also took a lot of humility as well. And that was a hard one, bro. I didn't just lose a mate though. Someone lost a son, someone lost a sibling. But at the time, we were all grieving, and we didn't know how to grieve, if that makes sense, bro. We were sort of displaced and just trying to find means or find clarity in the situation. I think the worst thing was just the way that our bro passed away. And the fact that he assumed at the time that he didn't have nowhere else to go to or no one to turn to. That's what hurt the most, bro. And then looking at his whakapapa, he's got couple of kids, and just seeing how they were managing the situation at the time. Yeah, it wasn't nice, bro. It rocked me, but it also like definitely had a major effect on our hapori and those who knew him personally. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you put it pretty well, Dub, in terms of te pō e. Because kei reira ngā pātai, kei reira kei reira te riri, kei reira ngā mea katoa. It's such a disorientating time. The questions that come about the whys, the reasons. Was it me? Did we do enough? Was our relationship not as strong as I thought it was? All those things it's more than a single person. And koe te tai āhuatanga o te whakahimo, o te whakamate, at that point, it immediately makes it a single person issue, I guess, in a sense, a whānau issue, a hapuri issue, a iwi issue, all those things that come with it. And yeah, those individual grieving processes around making sense of it, trying to move around it. And in the time since then to now, how do you sit with that? What's the relationship now with the passing of your bro?
Oh, definitely have come to grips with the fact that he's gone. Like, it's been 4 years now, coming on to 5 years soon. Coming to the grips and the fact that he's gone is, it took ages. Because we were meant to get our pūhoro together. And we locked in dates, and we locked in our Kaitaia, which was his sister. And then, I hinga ia. So one healing factor for me was, getting my pūhoro, bro. And just knowing that because we were meant to do it together, I now will be able to do it for the both of us. That was a real, that was a journey in itself, bro. Like, just being able to be on the table. Every day came with a challenge or wero, but knowing that I wasn't just doing it for myself, but for the both of us, and accomplishing that was sort of my koha to him, and sort of letting him know, like, you could have been here to do it together, but now kua hinga atu koe, like, māku tēnei haipapa e kawe. So that was I healed a lot through that journey. And then obviously now these days is sort of identifying bros who are going through that and trying to be a bit more vocal and just offer a bit more support. Because to be honest, I was sort of blind to the oblivious, like, in terms of I didn't actually see the signs, which is quite stink. But the thing that I always know from his passing, like in terms of a nakoranga, is that those who seem the happiest and those who seem the brightest in terms of their wairua or their smile, they mask it very well, bro. Like, those who you would think, the bro's, he's got it all, like, he's got a bright future, he's always happy, he's the life of the party, he's the life of the friend group, they're actually hurting the most. And so now that I know that, I try and always look for ngā tohu.
Can't take anyone for granted, eh?
Yeah. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, bro. Like, I go through stuff too. Like, I'm not always 100%. But like I said before, it's about acknowledging that and not trying to shy away from it. But I guess there's a lot of people that I know of who would probably appreciate, like, kia ora, bro, I'm just reaching out to see how you are. Or kia ora, brother, I hope all is well. Give me a call if you can. Because I guess when you're in that deep in terms of the whakaaro and your hinengaro playing games on you, they probably shy away from that sort of aki and those messages, and they probably think, I don't want to be a burden, or I don't want to be hoha, or
I'll get over it.
Or I'll do it by myself. So a lot of akoranga from losing our bro. And it's just trying to be better, bro. The only thing we can do now, moving forward, is just to be better. Better in our approach, better in our understanding of what it means to be genuine with our friendships, and better in understanding that not everyone is going to be 100%. There's no such thing as being perfect, bro. So if bros could understand that a bit better, I guess we'll be better off with it.
Yeah, because again, it's part of that kind of that comparison, like what we should be, how we should present, what we're allowed to feel, what we're not allowed to feel, and even going back to your pūhoro and hearing that side of the story around the commitment that was made, I maharo, I think i te rā whakamutunga, there were signs i tō rā whakamutunga, there were signs there that let you know, he's here. He's here with you. Can you share a little about what those signs were?
Yeah, when I finished my tātua and I sat up, there was obviously karanga from Whaiwiki and then a haka from the bros. But when that all finished, there's a portrait, or I think it was a half portrait done at the time in Ani studio of Kai, and then below that portrait was a axe or a yatukupu.
Paiaka?
Yeah, he paiaka. And it was just hanging there, bro. The doors were closed, so there was no wind coming through. But yeah, when I sat up and then I witnessed the haka and the karanga, that paiaka was moving, bro. It was moving for ages too. And I recorded it too. It's on my phone. I recorded it, bro. And then once everything quietened down, I sort of took a look around and seen if anyone else was noticing it, and I was like, oh, no. And then, yeah, bro, it just stopped moving. So people would probably dismiss that as being like, oh, bro, you're just tripping yourself out. You just finished 5.5 days on the table. But nah, that was a clear tohu that our bro was there with us. And yeah, because one thing that I wanted to sort of get clarification on after he passed was like if he was going to visit me. And then, a week went by and he didn't. But he visited me through the means of one of my aunties, bro, who was actually a matakite. She stays in Tāmaki too. And she came over randomly to my whare at the time and was just saying, because I didn't even know she was a matakite, but she was just saying, you're probably wondering why I came over. And I'm like, yeah, hard.
Very random.
Yeah. And she was like, well, your bro just won't leave me alone. I was like, oh, who? And then she was just like, Kai, like he just won't leave me alone. He's been bothering me all day at mahi. And he's just been telling me to come with him. And then, so she jumped in her car after mahi, and then she was just following him, bro. Everywhere she'll drive, she'll see him, and then he'll keep saying, come, come, come. And then it led her to my whare, bro, and then she clicked and she was just like, anei. And then I didn't know how to take it because I was just like, that's random, auntie. And at first I was like, you must be pulling my leg out. But then again, she was just like, nah. And then I said, well, where is he? Like, Kaitaia. It's like, he's outside. He doesn't want to come in. And then she pointed out to him. And then she said, he wanted to come and say he's sorry. He wanted to come and say he's sorry for what he done. He didn't know how to do it. But yeah, bro, and I just broke down, I just broke down, bro. Lost of words. And she said he didn't mean to do it. If he could have taken it back, he would have. So from that, bro, yeah, from that and then getting my pūhoro done, there were just steps of grieving, bro. And now that I'm kind of gone past that, like, yeah, I understand now.
Wow. Honestly, tā, what a what a moment in time, and the clarity, you know, the understanding just from that, from our tikanga, from our Māori and our wairua, you know, kua tūhono mai ki te whakatika, kua tūhono mai ki te whakamohio, and just what you can make of it all, you know, the reasons, the whys, and certainly make peace. You can make peace with all of that, and honestly, that's kanui te pai me te hira o tērā mahi tab, mihi ana. I think just what I'm also hearing from this whole story, from all the way to Kaitaia to more recently, and as a young father, as you describe yourself, the importance of these lessons of how to deal with the emotions, how to deal with grief, how to deal with loss. How has that informed your approach to raising your boys?
Yeah, no, that's important, bro. Like, I almost ask myself that every day, in terms of, like, am I doing enough? Am I being a good father? Is the path that I'm on at the moment, is it true to who I actually am? And I think for me, bro, it's just breaking down my barriers and my walls, bro, and just being open to, sort of being open to answering those questions myself. Like, when I do ask myself that, am I being enough? I tell myself 100%, bro. Like, am I doing enough for my kids? 100%. Am I being true to my identity and to my mission in terms of what my purpose is on this planet? 100%. But those affirmations, they come with they do come with affirming myself and what my mission is, but also it comes with me being able to take action every day and to be present, and to be a good dad, bro. Like, not saying my dad wasn't a good dad to me, but you obviously want to get better every reanga, you know. You sort of take things from what your father taught you, and then you kind of mold it and have your own style of parenting. And I know 100% that I am a good dad. I may muck up a few times, but we're only human, bro. Like, everyone makes mistakes. But if I can just be present and, like, the simple things, be present, tell them you love them every day. Don't try and yell at them. Just the simple things, bro. Those go a long way. Like, I've learnt a lot, especially around trying to be patient. Like, you can't enforce what you want to your kids straight away. Like, there's also lessons around them picking it up when they do. But me and my son Kuaka, like, we're more like bros rather than father and son, bro. Like, so I tell him, like, how are you feeling today, bro? Like, you know, what are you actually feeling? And he asks me that sometimes too. And it's cool, bro, because my dad never asked me that. Like, how are you actually feeling, bro? So to get to that level of parenting, I guess, is a huge milestone and a huge one for me personally. But yeah, it's just a continuous thing every day. Take it on the chin. You can try and be the best father in the world, but that doesn't come with hardship and that doesn't come with challenges, bro. So I understand that and I just take it every day, bro.
It's just like your tākito hauora. It's not given, it's not guaranteed. But every day you have to work for it. Same for being a good dad. Every day you have to work for it. Every day you have to show up. Every day you ask your kids how they are, so they know how to deal with their emotions, so they know how to regulate, and they also know how to share, because kore te tehi kōhao nui. Kōhao nui ki ngā whānau. It's, well, I didn't even see it. I didn't even know how to talk about my feelings. And then at that most extreme, at the most desperate ends of despair, we have our whānau turn to suicide as an option, because kore oti, kore ea, ngā whea ko i a rātou. Engari, e kahamina ki a koe Dub, hei whakakapi i tō tāua wānanga, tō tātou wānanga. Any final words, any final words of support or encouragement for whānau that are feeling low or feeling down, or even at the risk of dying by suicide, what would you say?
I'll probably say that try and think about the implications if you do choose to do that. Obviously, it won't come across, it won't come to mind straight away, but you choosing that as a final outcome, think about your internal whānau, think about your pāhara keke, think about your kids, think about your hapori, think about the wider community that may be affected if you do choose to go out that way. I te otinga iho, you know, no one has control over your life. Only you do, but try not to be so selfish. But also, we probably need to do better as bros, as men, and not try and lean towards more of the masculine side all the time, and try and be a bit more vulnerable in our approach to life. There's duality in everything, and we as bros need to try and seek that and find clarity in that as best as we can. Love yourself, love your wahine, love your kids, and che, e mi ana.
Che, mi ana Dub. Kia ora anō ki te karikia, kia pai tā tātou wehe, ai tēnei kōrero, i tēnei wānanga, nō reira, wairia te rangi e tū.